Zane hung his arm out the driver's window as cruised down the road, enjoying the beautiful, warm night air. He flipped through the radio stations as he slowly turned right onto Wheelabout Road. Not that you could get many stations out here except a country station and occasionally Christian radio. Just one of the luxuries of living in no man's land. The parking lot at the backpacking trailhead was empty, as he suspected. No one should be out here hiking at 1:30 in the morning. Eerie chills came over him as his truck's headlights caught the abandoned, run-down Hope Chapel. The building was originally a one-room schoolhouse and was moved to its current spot in the 1800s. It now sat as an empty, dilapidated shell that was nearly overgrown. He wondered why they hadn't torn it down. Soon enough, he crossed the service road for the power lines, giving him a view of the intersection consisting of two gravel roads in front of him. Sure enough, on the side of the road sat a dark blue Ford Mustang. The front of the vehicle sat about 2 feet away from the tree line, as if whoever was driving the vehicle almost drove into them with the driver's door open.
1418, dispatch. Show me on scene with one vehicle. Driver's door open and overhead light is on, but no one in the vehicle.
Copy Unit 1418. On scene. 1:30.
Dispatch, is 1412 nearby?
He knew Gemma Lane was on shift, but was unsure of where she was. A second later, he heard Gemma's cheery tone come across the radio.
Unit 1412. Dispatch, I'm at the Lake Hope campground. I'm 12 minutes out and will be en route to Unit 1418.
Zane clicked the button on his mic.
Copy direct.
12 minutes? He got an uneasy feeling as he turned on the truck's spotlight, aiming it at the vehicle in front of him. He paused for a moment to see if there was any movement inside or near the car. Nothing. He quietly opened his driver's door and eased out onto the ground. He drew his service weapon and aimed it ahead of him as he approached the vehicle. You can never be too careful these days.
Officer Zane Bradshaw with the National Park Service. If there is anyone in or behind the vehicle, please come out slowly so I can see you.
Nothing but quiet. Too quiet. He heard a twig snap and jumped, swinging his firearm as he looked around him before realizing he had stepped on a fallen branch lying on the gravel. He chuckled softly to himself.
Scaredy cat.
He holstered his gun and took the small notepad from his vest pocket. While shining his flashlight at the rear license plate, he wrote down the number.
Unit 1418, dispatch. Virginia plate Frank Adam 185.
Zane rummaged through the glove box. No vehicle registration or insurance papers. It was empty other than the owner's manual. He checked under the seats, but didn't see anything other than fast food wrappers and loose change. He turned off the overhead light. It hasn't been that long since the driver has been in the vehicle if the light was still on.
Plates come back to a 42-year-old male, Christopher Blackburn. Residence is Norfolk, Virginia.
Must have been out here camping.
Zane thought to himself.
But why would he pull off toward the trees and leave his vehicle here with the light on and door open?
He caught a quick shadow on the trees in front of him in the corner of his eye. Could have been a deer. Ever so quietly, a soft scraping sound came from the front of the vehicle. A lump grew in his throat as he saw two gnarly hands reach over the front of the hood, then drag its fingernails down, scratching through the paint. He leapt from the car and drew his gun, rounding the vehicle, but whoever was there was already gone.
Get it together, Zane. You're losing it.
He holstered his gun and walked back to his truck and climbed inside. Headlights appeared in his rearview mirror. It must be Gemma. Sure enough, her voice came over the radio.
Unit 1412 on scene with Unit 1418.
He stepped out of the truck and walked toward her.
Had to give us some excitement, huh? Couldn't you just sit at home, eat your turkey sandwich, and talk to Colt?
She laughed sarcastically.
Hey, you know I get bored if we go too long without something interesting happening.
He waved toward the Mustang.
When I pulled up, the driver's door was open and the overhead light was on, but the vehicle was shut off.
So, it hasn't been that long since the driver left it.
Exactly. I was wondering if he was having trouble with the vehicle and decided to walk to a nearby house.
Nearby house? What nearby house? You know the only ones near here are the abandoned manor past the tunnel and Old Man Frank half a mile down Wheelabout. You can't even see his house from the road.
We know that, but he probably doesn't. We'll have dispatch call Old Man Frank to see if anyone showed up there. In the meantime, let's swing by the tunnel and then stop by the manor. Afterward, we'll head back toward the campground.
Gemma nodded and got back in her truck.